When you're an adult who doesn't know how to swim and you're looking for an exclusive or a private instructor or exclusive or private swimming lessons, you really need to know what to look for. Because learning as an adult is different than as a kid. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the things I've learned from over 20 years of teaching beginning and fearful adults how to go from just sticking their toe in the water to total joy and freedom in beautiful places like Hawaii. But I'm going to give you the tips and insights that these students have shared with me over the years about what didn't work and what is working. Because what we really see oftentimes is people who have failed at learning to swim in traditional swim programs or in other swim programs. And so then they come to us and they're like, please, I need the one-on-one attention. I need your exclusive help. I need this expertise. There must be something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with them. There's just oftentimes things missing. And that's what I'm going to tell you and show you about in this video. Before we dive in, I just want to make a note that down in the show notes, I've linked to a course called Preparing for Your Adult Swimming Lesson. We put together a course that comes before you even get into the water, because you do have lots of questions and preparation that's needed. Here today, I'm pulling forward some information that's a part of that course and really is about from all of the learning we've had from all of the years of working with students, finding out what their stories of what failed them and how they share this with us because they don't feel like a failure anymore. So I want to share those lessons with you today. So 3 of them that I'm going to pull forward is 1, it's not about the Olympics. It's not about what you see in the Olympics. And 2, can they answer my questions? It's all about the questions. We have a whole section in that course about questions, how to ask questions, how to get questions answered. And the 3rd one is exclusive and private doesn't always mean by yourself or like without a group of people. You can create exclusive and private and learning for you that's your exact right level, even within a group setting. So let's dive into these. Now, why do I say that's not about what you see in the Olympics? I mean, of course, you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to take swimming lessons and 6 weeks later I'll look like an Olympiad. I mean, I don't think any of us are quite that delusional, right? We use something like the Olympics to inspire us. But yet, when you go to most traditional swimming lessons, what does kind of look like the Olympics is that they're working on those basic strokes. And what I hear from students when they take classes that are working on those basic strokes that you see in the Olympics is they're in class and they're like, Am I behind already? Isn't today day number 1? Why do I feel like everybody else seems to know something, or that the teacher or whoever's helping me? This happens very frequently when we have our loved ones try and teach us to swim. They're like, they're sort of assuming that I know something already. And it's like I'm in the 102 class instead of the 101 class. And this is what I mean by it's not about the Olympics. If the course that you're taking, if the instructor is really focused on the formal strokes that you see for lap swimming, and you don't know how to get air yet, you don't know how, one of our basic rules I've shared with you in other videos is how to get air easily and how to take care of the 80% mental before you do the 20% physical. We feel behind. We feel left out, especially if this is the way that you feel going into swimming lessons. If that's sort of your narrative already, and we're looking at these kind of advanced complex skills that you're wondering, what comes before? And this really is so much why we not only created the class that I told you about already, the Preparing For, but all of our online learning to help people who are local to us or far away, right? That there is a whole host of things that comes before the Olympics. That comes before those complex skills. So you want to know, can they really truly start at the beginning? And that goes to the second point, which is, can they answer my questions? One of the things I hear from both the student side and teachers, because we train teachers as well, so that, we have our primary locations, but we train people out in other locations as well. And teachers will even say, gosh, when I have an adult student, they ask so many questions. They all in their head, and I just want them to do it. Just relax and do it, right? Well, you have these questions, and when they don't get answered, honestly, this kind of causes the tension. This is part of the tension. You're like, I know, I need to just relax, but I don't understand some things. And sometimes the questions we ask are really big future questions that our brain likes to go to, like, well, what's going to happen when I get into the middle of the lake? All right, well, perhaps we can talk about that. But maybe we also need to see, how are you getting into the middle of the lake? Let's roll back and see, what do we really need to know now? I always answer some of those pieces to give people a vision of what's going to happen in the middle of the lake, but it's also a really good team going to help bring you back to, well, how are we getting to the middle of the lake? What are the things that are happening earlier? What are the things that you are in charge of? Because getting to the middle of the lake doesn't just happen. We don't just plop and we're out there. So we want to have a teacher, you want to have a space, you want to have an environment where you can ask questions that seem silly and far-fetched or are really tender, and somebody can listen to them and either know what the answer is or have a system to be able to break that question down and to find the answers together. My 20 plus years of experience, right? I have so many answers because I've broken down with so many different people the parts of it. And we've broken it smaller and smaller and smaller. They're general broad answers that are satisfying for a lot of people. But then it's always about, in our Foundations of Change program, it's always about meeting the student right where they are and to find the nuance in their question. And that is something that you want to have a relationship with your teacher to be able to feel safe enough to ask questions and to have them have some answers or have a system in which how to find answers to the questions. And really, that is oftentimes about this piece of helping you, a teacher helping you bring your own questions forward, which kind of brings me to the third part. Having private or exclusive lessons is really great, especially if you have a teacher who has heard and answered so many of these questions, because they can bring questions from other students and bring it to you and you go, oh, right, I didn't even realize that I had that question. So this is where, when I teach people about what happens to their nose and getting water in their nose, or what happens to their eyes when they open their eyes in the water. So when we start out and we say, well, do you have any questions about putting your face in the water? Most people are like, no, you just do it, right? Good old Nike slogan, just do it. But then when we start to pull up, well, how about your nose? Have you ever gotten water in your nose? Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I do have that question. How does water in my nose work? So a private lessons teacher who has that experience to pull those questions from other people together, they can really kind of move you along with the wisdom of a group. I also like to make sure people know that you can have an exclusive experience or a private experience within a context of a group too, because there's a lot of value of learning with the group. When we take students to Hawaii and our advanced students who have gone through a Foundation 1 class already, they're all at different levels. So it has this exclusive feel to it because it's always about meeting individual students. But the joy and the inspiration, and sometimes you're the leader and sometimes you're the follower, and having people to share the experience with who understand where you've come from, all of these things are a beautiful, wonderful part of a learning and really fill out a learning experience. So it's really having that balance of, I'm in a group not to compare and despair, right? Not to make it so I need to be like somebody else, but I get to show up just as I am and ask my questions and be who I am and have my relationship with the teacher and the other students and myself. Then I create this exclusive and private experience within a joyful, inspiring experience of being with a group. So our Foundation 1 students who go to Hawaii and we learn in the beautiful pool at the resort, they get to have that joy of being with somebody who understands what a big deal it is to go into the 6 feet of water and feel safe. It is a whole nother experience to have that feeling with another person who you know really gets it too. So exclusive and private can also happen in that group setting. Learning to swim as an adult is this process of taking excellent care of yourself and taking the steps, breaking them down, understanding the 80% mental to the 20% physical, so you can create this expansive experience where you can keep water out of your nose, get air when you need air, feel safe through your whole journey, be able to participate and have fun, because this is what it's really all about. We'd love to see you in taking another step. Remember, we're all about taking steps. You're doing so well here by watching this video. Grab that course, the Preparing for Your In-Person Swimming Lesson course. Or I also do, each time I have that free intro course. If you haven't taken the free intro course, you can see in the show notes there. And don't forget to subscribe so I can see you next week. Take care.